an activist, now turned musician and conservationist, and he's here this morning because he's been working with the ministry concerning domestic vacations and staycations in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we have Mr. Andrew Wilson from the National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority, and they're also one of our key agencies that work to preserve our beaches and parks in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So, Minister Mackey, over to you.
Thank you very much, Jay, and let me welcome members of the media to this very important media session this morning. As we indicated at the beginning of this year, and as we have done each year prior, the ministry will be coming to you very often to update you on developments across the three sectors: tourism, sports and culture. We understand and appreciate our importance in terms of the development of the economy and the various sectors of the economy, and we have under tourism the most important in terms of the productive sectors in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So it's important that we engage you as often as possible. As you just heard from Jay, we are about to go into the tourism month of activities beginning tomorrow, the 1st of November, and we thought it prudent to give you all the necessary details so that you can assist us in publicizing, sensitizing, educating the nation what is going to be happening for the month of October. Even before we get to the month of October, I just want to share with you some very important information as it relates to what would have transpired in the ministry across the sectors as well over the last couple of weeks. I think you'd all agree that we just came out of what no doubt has been the most exciting and fun-filled and packed Independence program ever in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and I could provide some more detail. But I just want to say to you that the organizing committee of the Nine Mornings Festival, they would have recently held a meeting 2 weekends ago with stakeholders, and they would have more or less finalized plans, reviewed for second time what transpired last Christmas, and come up with a series of events and plans for this year's Nine Mornings Festival. I'm sure that as time goes by, they would release the final program for this year's Nine Mornings activities, but over 40 participants would have attended that stakeholders meeting, and that augurs well for us having a very important Christmas season this year. I think with the amount of flights that will be coming in, chartered and scheduled flights, I think that we can expect that the numbers would also grow. So this is going to be a very important Nine Mornings Festival year for us in 2017. Just want to indicate also that the ministry, through the Department of Culture, would have met with the Ministry of Education, with the music teachers in the schools, and with the confirmed sponsor that we have. And very shortly you will also have the details of the launch of our Schools Bands Music Festival, Schools Bands Festival. Yeah, for the first year it would involve 6 of the schools. They would have had full programs, teachers, instruments, etc. And that program will be held in December, early December this year. So you can look forward to that information. Also to indicate that the ministry would have also had meetings with the stakeholders relative to early plans for the 2018 Easter Regatta in Bequia as well as in Union Island. So we are ensuring that we start early and build on what we had last year. You would know that in terms of the onshore activities, for the last 2 years, those have been growing so much that providing challenges to manage, and the sailing side of things, those numbers we are seeking to pull up this year. Hence the reason why we had these early meetings with the organizing committees in Bequia, and we are to meet with the organizing committee in Union Islands as well. We recently held a meeting with the personnel from the ship Logos, that is the floating religious books ship, and that should be coming to St. Vincent and the Grenadines in November. So details on that will be provided as well. In terms of airlines, we know that we had the first flight on the 23rd, the morning of the 23rd of October, charter flight from Sunwing, and those flights would continue every other week into January. The month of December, we can report, is either filled or over 80% filled in terms of those charters. So that's why I indicated that December is going to be a good year and a good month and to end the year. And also the scheduled flights by Air Canada, the first one on the 14th of December, that's completely filled. Second one on the 21st, I think, of December, that's about 85% filled. And those flights will go into April next year. Sunwing will end in January and then pick back up when Air Canada ends in April. And I also want to say that Easy Sky, they continued their weekly flights into St. Vincent and the Grenadines. For the month of October, one of the flights, 74, the next one was 65, and one should be coming in this week with 82 persons. Those flights come from Cuba to St. Vincent and then back to Cuba, and the persons come really to shop. So it's a shopping tourism at its best and going in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we know that the shoppers are visible on the streets of Kingston, and we're happy to facilitate that type of tourism, which is now of growing interest to us here. Also indicate that persons now come from the other Caribbean countries to St. Vincent to catch flights to go on to Cuba. So we can see this really developing into St. Vincent as a link, as a hub for the other Caribbean countries. We know that discussions are ongoing where this is concerned. Our arrivals by sea, we had for the month of July, which is the last full month of statistics that we have, the July figures went up by 4.2% overall, and for the period July to July, 16 over 17, those figures would have gone up 15.5% overall increase in arrivals for that period. The cruise season this year, which started on the 26th, we had the first vessel coming on the 26th of October. It really has its home base in Spain, but it's not leaving from Spain, it's leaving from the Spanish countries of the region. And that first call came in, we were able to board the ship, and as proof that the important stakeholders, this is a picture that was taken as we visited the ship on the, it's actually an inaugural call. It's the first call by this ship to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and as is the case with all inaugural calls, we would board the ship and present them with a token of appreciation for choosing Port St. Vincent and the Grenadines as an addition to their schedule. So the agent, the Port Authority, and the ministry, we would have been represented there. And exciting news also for arrivals by ship for this year by the cruise vessels. We now have 315 calls identified for this cruise season, which would start basically now and go into April. That's a 23% increase on the calls last year. Last year we had 256 calls, so 315 identified so far. We expect that those numbers will increase as we go into the season, as is the case each year. And in terms of full capacity, we would have seen quite a large increase in terms of the capacity, the full capacity. If the ship comes to St. Vincent full, those numbers are quite higher than they would have been last year. Last year we welcomed the Britannia for the first time, and they did, I think, about 7 calls last year. This season they're doing 10 calls to the destination. Their capacity is 4,000 passengers and 1,700 crew. And this year we're also going to welcome Fantasia, which is a larger vessel, 4,300, just over 4,300 passenger capacity and 1,800 crew. And they are also going to make 10 calls to the destination. So that should just give you an idea of what is going to unfold for us during this year's cruise season. It means that the capacity in terms of the land tours, etc., will be challenged, and therefore we are asking Vincentians to respond positively. Work with the agents, they will identify what is required. Cabinet is willing to offer incentives to persons who wish to get new vehicles to be able to assist with the movement of persons with this increase. In fact, if we look at visits, calls to the mainland, we'll see that last year there were 48 calls to the mainland. This year so far, 112. That's 132% or so increase on the calls to the mainland. Now we expect that this will be a similar situation for visits by yachts, because you know that there is quite significant damage in the northern part of the Caribbean region, and we suspect that yachts will choose St. Vincent and the Grenadines as one of the preferred destinations to sail to, because we have what it takes. We have the waters, both in terms of sailing and diving, and we expect that our number of arrivals by yachts would also increase. Now we naturally don't have figures for yacht arrivals, so that will have to be tabulated at the end of the period. So quite exciting news for our tourism season this year. In terms of the weekend that we just came off of, if I can point to a number of positives during the last 2 weeks of Independence Month. You know that the ministry, we have indicated a few years ago that we are going to develop the month of October into a full sporting and cultural activities month, and in so doing, developing the tourism product at the same time. This year, we would have achieved that objective in a major way, and as I indicated earlier, easily the most excited and packed Independence program ever. So we'd have had the schools rally on the Wednesday prior to the Independence Day, and we saw that we had in that rally the Prime Minister giving out incentives, satisfying promises for incentives for persons, the students who would have performed well, so that was concluded. And then we had the Calypso Association in conjunction with the Red Cross and other stakeholders and partners having the climate change Calypso competition. I think there were 6 or 7 schools that participated in that competition in the afternoon. And those of us who would have had the privilege of being at Victoria Park for the National Military Parade, or who would have watched on television, or who would have seen subsequently on social media. I don't know if it's on YouTube as yet. I know a lot of persons were waiting to see it on YouTube. We know that the Pathfinders really stole the hearts of not only their 7-day followers who were very much present, but all of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, home and abroad, with the magnificent performance on the parade ground on Friday morning. So that parade was well attended, very well attended, and keen interest in what transpired there. And I want to say congratulations to the 5 newest ambassadors to the list of already identified sporting and cultural ambassadors to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In the field of culture, we have Lennox Dinks Johnson, who was a mass producer at one time and now serving the Lord in a different capacity. He also was an outstanding singer for bands in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, solo and for bands. Also very outstanding artist, creates some very, very outstanding pictures, paintings for us here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, so we're proud of him. And we also have outstanding fashion designer, Kimon Baptiste St. Rose. Those were the 2 cultural ambassadors that were identified. And in the field of sporting ambassadors, Deloise Duncan, she was the captain of the St. Vincent and Grenadines netball team for a number of years, and also the president of the Netball Association. And also Terence Davis, who was well known all over St. Vincent and the Grenadines region and internationally. He has been outstanding for Special Olympics, both on the field and as an administrator. And finally, the third sporting ambassador, Michael Thaddeus, Mike Finley, who really went on to represent the West Indies in cricket, and also still does a lot of work in administration and as a sports broadcaster. So congratulations to these persons. We also had the obstacle event at Mount Wynn on that same Friday, so I'm sure that they will put out the information in due course. We had the open water swim meet at Villa, and I think they had close to 50 participants in the 750 meter, 1500 and 5000 meter events that was held at Villa. And then we had this series of sporting events at the old E.T. Joshua Airport site. We had the bikers, we had the 4x4 vehicles, we had the go-karts, and we had the drag racers. Really having a full weekend of events at E.T. Joshua, and just in passing, visiting, each day would have had a full house. They really had a good showing out there at E.T. Joshua. They would also put out the information in terms of the visits by regional and international personnel coming in for that event. And the ministry would have, of course, collaborated with the organizers of that event, as we did with the Invest SVG. And those of us who would have visited the E.T. Joshua site would have seen really an outstanding display of Vincentian items produced right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, called Everything Vincy. I think they had over 50 participants in terms of booths and tables at the showcase out there, and small producers, manufacturers, persons involved in art, agro-processors, you name it, they were out there at the E.T. Joshua site, and that exhibition ran for 3 days, well patronized by Vincentians, had a wonderful weather, so I think they would no doubt have achieved their objectives, but I'm sure that they would also put the information out in a report form in due course. We had AMP also being part of that expo and racing event at Arnesville, and they would have had shows where they were able to expose local artists to also present what St. Vincent has to offer on stage. And then we also had Somen Debnath. He is from India, and he is riding around the world on his bicycle, and he is bringing attention to HIV and AIDS awareness, and also awareness for peace and love through sport, while he promotes the Indian culture, which is the culture in which he would have come from. St. Vincent and the Grenadines would have been the 138th country that he would have visited, riding his bicycle around the world, and he was absolutely blown away by the hospitality and the beauty of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and he was really high in praise of us hosting him here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He has another 53 countries to visit, which will take him up to 191 countries I think he's going to visit around the world. Started that journey in 2004, yes. 2004 to 2020, that's about 16 years that he will be riding around the world to take that message from country to country, region to region. So we were happy to have Mr. Debnath here, and he also would have visited schools and the community college, taking that message to them, riding around the country, doing his, clocking up his kilometers, which he has identified he wanted to do. And also he would have planted a tree at the Arnesville playing field. That we have been celebrating peace through sports throughout the world. So the idea was for him to plant that tree in recognition of the effort of bringing peace to the world through sporting activity. So that was done on Sunday at the Annesville playing facility. It was actually part of the inaugural SVG Independence National Lotteries Authority Cricket Masters Festival. And this is the first time we were having this competition, but it was undoubtedly a tremendous success. We had 10 teams participating. We had 3 teams from Trinidad and Tobago, 1 from the USA, we had 1 from Mustique, and 5 from mainland St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we were scheduled to have another team from Trinidad, 1 from Grenada, 1 from Canada. Those teams fell out at the last moment. But based on the success of the competition, I know that this is going to be it will be a difficult challenge to manage what is going to happen next year. It's going to be annual, and all of the teams committed to participate next year, and they will be bringing other teams from their region, and we also have commitment from the UK, Canada, Barbados and Grenada as well. So the numbers are going to double, so we're going to have to really look at the format of the competition. But it's a good challenge to have, and the finals on Sunday really was fitting of any international cricket competition. We had a team from St. Vincent, Northeast, and we also had a team from Trinidad in the finals. So virtually St. Vincent versus Trinidad in the finals. We had a packed pavilion, exciting atmosphere, went down to just about the last over, and the team from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Northeast, would have won that engagement, and they would have pocketed US $3,500 as the first prize in that competition. Quite attractive, if I could say that myself. Second place, US $2,000, and the losing semi-finalists would have pocketed $500 each. So we can look forward to this competition developing into a very, very important one for the sports tourism aspect of our development. Just to say that we also had games at Cumberland, the newest facility that was developed, and also at Park Hill, which is also a very outstanding facility that we now have available to us. And the semi-finals was played in Sign Hill, and one at Annesville on the inside, and then the finals at the inside Annesville. And finally, I just want to indicate that we will be opening the Hope playing field this Sunday. Sunday is the 5th. Sunday the 5th of November, and we will commence the activities at 10 o'clock in the morning, when we'd have the first cricket game. Then at 12:30 we'd have a second cricket game, and then the sporting activities will conclude with a football event, and that will be followed by the opening program. So Hope playing field at Vermont Valley, 10 o'clock this Sunday, the 5th of November, as we open that wonderful facility as well that was recently developed under the NLA-NIS government initiative. So I don't want to stay there, and now pass you over to Jay and the other members of the team to update you on the month of November as we develop Tourism Month.
Okay, well, we're moving over to some entertainment before we get back to some other serious business. So we're going to pass over to my colleague and friend, Hayden Bellingi. Apologies already for him. He is fighting a cold, and so please bear with him. But Hayden is going to share the push for domestic tourism staycations and exploring our St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So Hayden, over to you.
Okay, so we all are aware, and you can agree with me, that we live in the very beautiful islands of St. Vincent and the Grenadines that is second to none across the entire world. And I'm just privileged to have written about our islands, and I am happy to be a Vincentian. I've traveled very widely internationally, and I've seen cultures and I've seen sights and sceneries across the world, but there's nothing compared to our SVG. And so I have always decided in my mind, at the right time, I'm going to write a song about St. Vincent and the Grenadines. from my own perspective. Many artists would have sung about our island, including the famous Beckett and others, and they would have captured the essence of our culture and our nature and our beauty. But I felt I would capture it through the eyes of a reggae. And this is basically an islander saying to people within your island or those abroad, welcome to St. Vincent and Grenadines, welcome to the island that is still unspoiled, that have not been explored, places you have not seen yet. Even Vincentians would not have traveled St. Vincent widely because of different reasons. There are persons who have not gone to the Grenadines, have not gone to Tobago Keys, have not gone to Mopian, have not gone to Union Island, and you are missing out on an opportunity to discover your country and the beauty that it possesses. And I want to encourage persons, nationals, regional persons, and international visitors to welcome them to our beautiful islands. And this is a package deal, 32 islands and keys. It has all you'd ever need: waterfalls, you can dive, you can sail, you can just kick back and relax and have a good time. This song is called Good Times because it reminds me of when I go to the Grenadines, or when I go to Soufrière, or I go to Darkview Falls, the good times I've had. And you can just create good times. Vincentians complain that there is not enough entertainment, but we have learned to create our own good times. And I think wherever we are, once we have a beautiful scenery, we have a beautiful beach, a beautiful mountain to hike, we can create good times that we can all remember.
So a preview of Hayden's song.
Summer all year around, come join me in the Caribbean sun. The coconuts are fresh off the tree, it's a natural place to be. From sunrise, sunset, it's alright. Just lay back and take in the sight. Take off your shoe for a while, and come on and enjoy the vibe. Welcome to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Places you have never been. Welcome to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Good times you have never seen.
Okay, I know we could dance all morning to this, but Hayden can tell us more. We could find the song, or you can
Yes.
share the song.
So I want to say that this song was co-written by myself and my friend Mariah St. Louis. He also produced a song from his studio, MS Studio, out of St. Lucia. The song is on iTunes and Google Play. You can purchase it there, or you can go to YouTube where there's a lyric video that you can enjoy. We are at this moment contemplating doing a video for the song, and we are starting to film this week. So hopefully by the end of November we should have a finished product that we could share with all Vincentians here and abroad, and to our visitors. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dillenji. And we'll pass you over to Mr. Wilson, who would tell us a bit about our sites and attractions and the projects that they'll be implementing this year.
I'm okay? Good. So good morning to members of the media. It's a pleasure for me to join with the Minister this morning in this media brief. As the Minister indicated, we are actually in the month of November commemorating Tourism Month, which is held annually. Also, it coincides with the beginning of the 2017-2018 visitor season. And at National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority, the work that we do in managing our various parks, protected areas, recreation sites, particularly natural recreation sites, play a very important role as part of the national tourism product offering. As persons may be aware, in St. Vincent and Grenadines, we promote our marine sector as one of our important niches, particularly for diving and yachting. So the work that we do, particularly in terms of management of our marine space, our marine protected areas, our beaches, plays a very important and integral role as part of that product offering. Also, we do a lot of work on the terrestrial side in terms of our various recreational park sites that are linked to heritage sites. For example, the Black Point Recreation and Heritage Park, the Lady Petroglyph. These are some of our natural sites. We also have very important historic natural landmarks such as the Botanical Gardens, Fort Charlotte. We also have our mountain trails such as the Lasso Ferry and the Vermont Nature Trail. So these collections of sites play a very important role as part of the natural nature tourism product that is being offered to visitors. And you heard mentioned before of the cruise ship season, and a lot of the land tours are conducted to several of these sites. We would have, during the period 2007-2009, benefited from an EU tourism development project that saw significant work being done to develop several of these recreation sites and parks throughout St. Vincent and Grenadines. It has been almost 8 years since we have actually done these initial site work, and we obviously there's a need as we continue to manage these sites that there's a continuous emphasis on maintenance and in some cases injections and new investment to maintain them at fairly high acceptable standards. So I would just like to speak a bit about one such initiative that we are undertaking through a capital project that has been funded by central government. It's actually a project that's within the estimates to be implemented during 2017 and 2018. We call it a rollover project because it begins in 2017 and it goes over to 2018. So if you look at the estimate, you'll recognize that there's an amount of 125,000 EC that has been committed for site improvement work. And we have since programmed these funds and have the release of funds, and we have actually commenced work on projects to enhance various site facilities at various sites in 2017. Specifically, we're trying to work this year on improving our facilities at 5 sites, mainly in the Lady Petroglyph Park, where we are trying to upgrade our outdoor seating and also access to the Petroglyph, and also try to actually give the site an overall facelift. We also will be doing work at the Oya Saltpond Recreation Site, again trying to improve access to the and safety to the pond and the facilities that are located on that particular site, particularly in terms of also improving the visitor facilities in terms of seating and services at that particular site. Botanical Gardens is one of our premier sites, our site that is highly visited. We have actually commenced work at that particular site, and that will include improvement work on the outdoor amphitheater that is actually being used by the public for soft social ceremonies such as weddings. And we are doing a renovation of that particular facility. We have also done some work on the perimeter fence again to improve safety at that particular site, and we have also will be doing some work to improve the facilities for workers who work at the site to improve and maintain that particular site. We would also be doing some work at Lasso Ferry, Bamboo Range, which is really the trailhead facility at that particular site, particularly to improve and expand our water that is actually used for the washroom. At that particular site, we depend highly on rain-fed water, so we'll be trying to improve the storage capacity at that site so we can have water, particularly during critical periods when we enter the dry periods of the year. We also would be and have already commenced some work using our own resources that will complement the resources from the capital project at the Rarica Recreation Park. This is a site that is actually highly used for also large events, and particularly as well patronized on weekends by locals. So we'll be working there to improve the fencing, the visitor facilities, and to really give the site an overall facelift in terms of the structures that are at that particular site. It's one of those sites that is actually exposed to the corrosive environment, being a coastal area where we have the saline waves that affects the site. One of the things I should also reiterate that what we have been doing too is that because we have been operating and managing these sites now for over an 8-year period, as we undertake work to improve the site, we seek to also improve the materials and some of the methods that we use so that we can have better longevity and better service from what we do. So we always try to look at how we can improve, not only in terms of the facilities, but also the materials and the methods that we use as regards the construction upgrades that we do. As I indicated, this is a rollover project, so we are planning that in 2018 we will continue this work at some of these sites that overall would extend the work to 10 more sites in 2018 as a rollover capital project, and sites that will be done in 2018 will include the Cumberland Beach Recreation Park, Botanical Gardens will do additional work there, the Nature Trail, the Cumberland Trail, the Glacier Freight Trail, and trailhead facilities, the Wallowa Heritage Recreation Park, the Black Point Recreation Heritage Park, Darkview Falls. We have also done significant work this year at Darkview Falls because we would have had some significant impacts after the patches of Hurricane Storm Maria earlier in the season, in the 2017 tropical season, that damaged significantly the vegetation in that area. It impacted the pool, and we also affected in a major way the access to the second fall. So we have actually done some work as regards, cleaning, mopping up, restorative work at the pool, and general enhancement of the visitor reception, the washroom facility. So persons who will visit the site will recognize that there has been some refreshing of this site that has given it some, attractive appeal. It's one of our highly visited sites as part of the cruise and tourism season generally throughout the year. So this rollover project, we expected that we will spend just over $200,000 in 2018. So overall, between 2017 and 2018, the plan is to actually spend around $325,000 on facility upgrade at various sites. And once these works are completed, they will significantly contribute towards the maintaining the natural attraction appeal of these sites to visitors. It will also enhance the quality of the visitor experience, which is very important, and also the visitor safety at these sites are also important. I should also indicate that beyond this infrastructure work that we do at these sites, we also, as we go into the visitor season, we also do work in relation to preparation of our human resource. So we would have also collaborated with the Ministry of Tourism to provide training for several of our staff in customer service, also in first aid and CPR. And internally also, we would have done some work with our staff in terms of ensuring that they could present the site and the information to visitors in the best and at the highest standard possible. So these are some ongoing work, including our ongoing program to work on the issue of signage at our various sites, which also contributes towards the visitor experience and safety at these sites. So I will now turn to two other project initiatives that we are implementing at national parks. And again, to reiterate that these initiatives helps to manage and sustain our key environmental attributes that we use for tourism, particularly in terms of the marine sector. We depend highly on our beaches, our corals, our reefs, which play a very important part in terms of our dive product as dive sites. And they also provide very important coastal protection services, particularly in an era of climate change, really. So it's very important that we have healthy, thriving marine ecosystems. We are implementing two projects that speaks to this, with different focus. We are currently, along with two other entities in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, implementing a coastal rehabilitation adaptation project to improve ecosystem health and build resilience to climate change. This project is being actually undertaken in the South Coast area, which is that area that stretches from Indian Bay out towards the Canash area, so it will include Indian Bay, Villa, Calicut. And this is one of our important areas that is used both domestically and also externally for tourism. We have several tourism plans in this area. It's an area that is highly used for recreation, both by locals and by visitors. But one of the concerns that we have had over the years is the impacts, particularly of pollution on the marine environment and the impacts it's having on our ecosystems in this particular area. So this particular project is really designed to build resilience and improve our marine ecosystem, particularly reefs, our fish species in the area and also our marine water quality, because having a good marine water quality is important because it impacts on the marine life that is found in the area. This is a project that's actually been implemented through the Climate Change Center in Belize, what we locally refer to as the 5 Cs, and we would have been fortunate to receive a grant of $600,000 US to implement this project. So this is one of the projects that we implemented directly, but we are also a partner agency for 2 other projects that have been implemented. The Ministry of Transport and Works is also implementing a similar climate change adaptation project in Sandy Bay that we are partnered with them on. This is really a coastal defense initiative in Sandy Bay to protect that particular area, that particular coastal community. And also Suscren in Union Island, they are also implementing a similar project in the Ashton area to look at restoring that marine area that has importance and significance for tourism as well as for fisheries. So we are also providing support on that particular project. But our own project that we are directly implementing at South Coast in St. Vincent, this project would have started in March this year and it goes until the end of December 2018, with the operational phase being completed, projected to be completed in September 2018. And just to give you a brief on the major objective of the project, it has really 2 major objectives really. One, to restore the environmental integrity of the South Coast Marine Conservation Area by improvement in the natural marine ecosystem and increased fish biomass. As I said before, these are marine systems that has been impacted upon, and there's a need for intervention and work to improve them so that they could provide these services for us in terms of tourism, coastal protection. So we have a major emphasis on interventions that will seek to do that. Also from surveys and assessments that we have done in the area, we have recognized that the fish population in terms of the sizes and the diversity, there's need for some improvement in that area. So the intervention and also during the medium and long term is geared towards that. We also seeking to prevent and reduce the acceptable levels to acceptable level land and marine-based stresses and improve the marine ambient water quality. We have a significant problem with land-based pollution that affects our marine areas, and particularly in the South Coast area. And it's something that's very noticeable. For example, when we have heavy rains, you see the water in the marine areas will get brown. That means that we have nutrient loading occurring. We have a lot of soil and sediments that enters our marine system that affects our marine areas. It actually smothers the reef. It also will bring in pollutants that is not too healthy. So we are trying to reduce the level of sedimentation and also pollution that comes from development along the coast in these areas by some interventions that we hope to undertake during the life of the project. And these interventions will include designing and installation of waste water improvement systems as model projects. We also will be undertaking some public awareness programs to tackle communities in these areas. We also intend to also do some upstream work in terms of cleaning, garbage removal, and also reforestation and streambank river planting to reduce the level of siltation that affects these areas. We also intend to, importantly, and this will hopefully have a long-term impact, to develop some standard guidelines that will govern coastal development and alteration to existing structures along the coast. And this hopefully would be an important tool that could be used by our regulatory agencies such as the Physical Planning Department in the future to help to improve and regulate coastal development in these areas. One of the significant problems or issues that one will notice when you visit the South Coast area is the erosion that occurs in the area. We are hoping to also undertake some work in terms of doing some assessments of the area that hopefully will inform some reef ball installation and also the watering wells to try to improve our beaches in terms of the width and to reduce the level of erosion that is occurring. This would be a long-term measure that we are hoping to undertake. And also there's another component of activities that will look at enhancing the tourism and recreational integrity of the South Coast area. We are, under this component, hoping to undertake 2 specific interventions. Currently at the Villa area, there's an existing boardwalk that would have been constructed a few years ago that we are working towards rehabilitating. It's around 550 feet long. We are just about completing the design work on that, and we are hoping to undertake this work hopefully before year end. And also, we should be installing under the project moorings in this particular area. We would have actually done a mooring and zoning plan for the area, and it's important to have dedicated moorings so we could have vessels and boats being moored in specific areas away from sensitive marine areas, so it avoids and minimizes damage to our important reefs. So that is just a brief synopsis of our climate change adaptation project that we are implementing in the South Coast. As I said before, it's a project that has actually been implemented through the Climate Change Center in Belize, 5Cs, with funding from the German government, KfW. And finally, just a brief on another project that we are implementing, again in South Coast, which is called a Reef Guardian pilot program. Again, here we are stressing on interventions that are seeking to improve our marine areas and the quality of our marine space. It's a project that we would have received funding from the Australian government based in Trinidad under a program called DAP, Direct Aid Program. We would have received a grant that we are currently implementing that are targeting two primary target audience, schools and farmers within the upper watershed of South Coast. We would have so far completed work on adopting a one-year curriculum or syllabus that could be used for primary schools, and we are now at the stage where we are now seeking to actually pilot this syllabus at two schools in South Coast, namely the Sugar Mill Academy. We recently actually did a launch of that Schools Reef Guardian program at that particular school, and we are also seeking to pilot the program at the Calicut Anglican School. And these are schools that are very close to the South Coast area and are within close proximity of the Indian Bay areas. And again, the idea of the Reef Guardian program is really about trying to improve stewardship and responsibility among the students so that they could become good stewards and involved in good practices that will reduce the impacts of land activities that can affect our marine areas. We are also targeting some farmers, and specifically we are working with the Ministry of Agriculture on this particular initiative to have some selected farmers. So far we have identified some farmers in the Beulah Kilburn area to pilot some initiatives where we could have better agronomic practices being conducted on the farm that reduces the impacts on streams that will actually discharge effluents into our marine areas. So we have some soil conservation measures, soil and water conservation measures, some improved planting techniques that we're hoping to work with these farmers on, and to also have them engage in better disposal of solid waste that are used on their farms. So these initiatives, we are hoping, once they are piloted in the Villa South Coast areas, could be expanded to other areas and adopted so they could become has wider application throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines and be of wider benefit to our country. We are thankful and grateful to have received funding from both these sources to be able to implement these projects that we are currently undertaking at National Parks Authority.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Okay, at this point we are about to launch our new tourism jingle. We are replacing a very old one that played its part, played its role over the years. I know a lot of kids sing it. I hope that they would appreciate and embrace the new jingle as much as the old one, and this is a preview of our new jingle.
Tourism is for all of us, not a selected few. We will reap from what we sow and make our nation grow. Tourism is for me, tourism is for you. Tourism is everyone's business, yeah. Live it, love it, embrace it.
I'll say play it one more time so you get used to
went
it.
for vacation. I went to a 60.
Tourism not taste electric fuel. We will reap from what we sow and make our nation grow. Tourism is for me, tourism is for you. Tourism is everyone's business, yeah. Live it, love it, embrace it.
Hey,
And on the shoulders of that one, we will be launching a series of new ads during Tourism Month, with specific focus on domestic tourism, as you would have heard Hayden and other persons speak about the need to explore our own country. So these are two of the ads that were created to remind persons of the importance of staycations and domestic vacations in our own country. No need to travel overseas. Yes, that's a good thing to do, but why not explore your own country?
hey, where you went for vacation? I went to a 16th century Creole village overlooking the Atlantic Ocean and traveled back in time with the Kalinaro. Really? The next day I hiked up a 4,000-foot volcano and I climbed down a rope ladder into the old crater and went for a swim in a large pool filled with cool water. Wow, that's awesome! Where is that? Right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, of course.
Tourism is for me, tourism is for you. Tourism is everyone's business, yeah. Live it, love it, embrace it.
Okay, class. Who wants to tell me what you did for your vacation?
Me, I want to go first.
Okay, sir. What did you do?
On the first day, we went hiking through the Cumberland Valley to the Vermont Nature Trail. And guess what? We were lucky to see the St. Vincent parrot.
Whoa!
Then we spotted the purple-throated parrot and the whistling warbler, which is only found in SVG. It had the strangest white ring around its eyes and was hopping from branch to branch. Next day, we went on a catamaran tour to the Tobago Keys. We swam with the green turtles and had lunch on Petit Tobac. That's the Grenadine Island in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Nice, I want to do that.
Boy, you do all of that. Discover St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Tourism is everybody's business. Live it, love it, embrace it.
I hope you enjoy them, and as we have new ads out, that you would embrace and explore. As they said, tourism is everybody's business, so we all have to explore our country. We have to know about our country before others come here. As you would have heard, our slogan is tourism is everyone's business. We have used that theme over the years. We hope that it's starting to sink in, that everybody realizes that it's all hands on deck. Everybody has to play their role in this industry for it to work. So first of all, I want to start by thanking the stakeholders that came on board for this Tourism Month, and the invitation is still extended to those persons who want to join and have initiatives that you wish to do during Tourism Month. So tomorrow is the first of Tourism Month, and we start with our annual Thanksgiving service at the Peace Memorial Hall, and we do invite anyone who wish to come out and worship with us. Pastor Al Blake from the Harvest Bible Chapel, he'll be bringing the message to the industry, so a special invitation is extended to the media. It starts at 9 a.m., so media, we love to have you there also. And persons who are in Queenstown at 9 a.m., Peace Memorial Hall is a big enough venue to host a big group, as we pray for the nation and the industry. As Mr. Wilson would have said a while ago, the Reef Guardian School program we're going to launch at the Calico Anglican School on Monday the 6th. That's the Reef Guardian pilot project at that school. And on the 8th of November, we then go to visit the farmers. So I believe it's 4 farmers that we're piloting right now. So on the Wednesday the 8th, we will be visiting the farmers as part of that program. As part of the season, as we prepare our stakeholders, we'll be having training, human resource development training with craft vendors, because during the month we will always have exhibitions, and we found it important to have training sessions with these craft vendors before the ships come here, so they will be prepared in terms of tourism education, pricing, labeling. So on the 10th of November, we will have human resource development training with our craft vendors. On that same day, we have a very exciting initiative that we started 3 years ago. Minister Mackey also participated last year, and we call it Dress Like a Tourist Day. That is the day that we come to work dressed up as if we are going on vacation. We do have rules and regulations for those persons who wish to join us. It's extended to all agencies. There will be a prize this year given to the best dressed team and the most creative team. Minister Mackey came out with his straw hats and his vacation attire last year. So I don't know if you can outdo him, but you can try this year. So Dress Like a Tourist Day is the 10th of November. On the 13th of November, an invitation is extended to the public who wish to participate in human resource development training. So we would have training in customer service, tourism education, conflict management. So if you wish to participate, we're inviting you to register because places are limited and we can't facilitate everybody. But on the 13th and the 16th of November, we would have the training. So if you wish to just improve on your skills and your knowledge about the industry and customer service, we invite you to register with the Ministry of Tourism. On the 15th, I'm jumping backwards and forwards, I apologize, but on the 15th of November, we'll be visiting our students. We find it important to engage with our students to increase the awareness of the industry, to foster academic discourse on the tourism industry, and to share ideas between both the stakeholders and the students, because we do have to engage with our students. So we'll be having career visits throughout St. Vincent. So we'll be going to the Grenadines, we'll be on the mainland, and we'll be chatting with the students and persons who have worked in the industry. So for example, we have Mr. Stefan Hanzi from Beachcombers, who is a young person who has worked his way up the ladder in terms of the hotel, and he knows what it's like to start from the bottom and move his way up, and the kids can relate to him. So we've invited stakeholders who the kids can relate to and chat with them about careers in the tourism industry. On the 17th of November, as Minister Mackey would have said, the Britannia is back with their 4,000 passengers plus crew, and on that day we'll be having an art and craft exhibition at the Port Authority lawn. Those vendors and craftsmen who have not registered yet, you are urged to register in advance because again, spaces are limited and it is first come first registered. So on the 17th of November, there will be an exhibition. On Tuesday the 21st, the media, we're not leaving you out. I know every year we do a media tour. So again, we'll be having a media tour. We call it the CPR tour. You will hear more about the CPR tour. I'm just giving you a teaser about it. So on the 21st of November will be the media tour. And on the 23rd, we will be having the Logos. So Logos Hope, which is the largest floating book fair in the world, and they're returning to Port Kingstown. I believe the last time they were here was 2009. And they are welcoming and inviting the public to come out on that day. I have fond memories of having ice cream on the boat as a child, and I look forward to going back. Minister is smiling, he seems to like ice cream also. I look forward to going back and exploring all the books. They have over 5,000 titles of books on board, interactive displays, and my cafe, my favorite cafe. So on the 23rd to the 3rd of December, they will be in Port Kingstown. And on that same day, we would also have the Pullmantur Zenith, which is a cruise line that has 1,828 passengers. So Port Kingstown will be busy on that day. And to satisfy the stomachs of those persons going to the Logos and coming off the ship, we will have a fish fry that will be on the Port Authority lawn. So public invited to explore on that day. It will be a buzz, hopefully on that day. So 23rd is a day to look out for. And on the 25th of November, which is something that we usually do to wrap up the month's activities, will be the annual awards and cocktails, where we honor and recognize persons who had outstanding contributions throughout the year in the tourism industry. So from taxi drivers to tour operators who have come on board with the standards and are exemplary in the industry. We we'll be recognizing you on that day. So the 25th of November will be our awards and cocktail. One thing I want to mention is that, as I said earlier, that we had our stakeholders who came on board and will be working with us throughout the month. Massey Stores, we'll be having what we call a lucky shopper, lucky tourism shopper. So throughout the month, we're not telling you what days, there'll be random days where persons shopping at Massey will have an opportunity to win prizes at Massey. So you will have to answer a question that is tourism related, and it must be correct. So you can't win the prize unless it's correct. So look out throughout the month that there will be the lucky tourism shopper at Massey Stores, and we're grateful that they have collaborated with us on that initiative. And the SVG Hotel and Tourism Association will be working on offering staycations throughout the month. Domestic tourism, staycation packages will be offered, so contact the SVG Hotel and Tourism Association to find out more about what staycation offers are available. So Minister Mackey, it is a busy month for us in terms of cruise arrivals and tourism activities. So if you have any other things you wish to add before the month, or if you wish to reiterate anything, over to you.
Yeah, just want to add that, yes, we have a call to action from Toronto in particular, in Canada, but we are not leaving out the other destinations where there is a strong Vincentian presence. So we will be going back up to Canada just to reinforce the airlines and travel agencies that we would have engaged up there. So we'll do that in the activities that will be involved with Caribbean Week in Canada, and that's from the 9th to the 16th, the 10th to the 16th really, of November in Canada. And then we go over to New York and we'll have meetings, town hall meeting, we'll meet with some airlines and also some agencies in New York as well, between the 21st, 16th to the 21st, around those dates. And we also intensifying our discussions with the UK, because Vincentians up there also, they're anxious to find out what airlines will be flying from the UK. And so we hope that before the end of the year we will have some definite word that we can share with you in terms of scheduled or chartered flights from both destinations, New York as well as the UK.
Okay, thank you very much everyone for coming to our press conference. We hope that you'll participate where possible throughout the month and that you'll help us to spread the message, and tourism is everyone's business. So I think we'll end with Hayden's song, so you'll get used to it.
You assume they don't have questions?
Oh, do you have questions? No. I think we spoke a lot.
You read their minds.